Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we covered the USA Today propaganda piece saying, basically, if you don't take this mandatory COVID 1984 shot, right, if you don't take it, you're not only not patriotic, but you're not going to be able to have a job certain places. You're not going to be able to travel to certain places. Your kids aren't going to be able to go to school certain places. And you don't have a right to say no. And although none of these people that were advocating for it were U.S. health officials, now we have somebody on the record in Virginia, a man named Norman Oliver, who outright is telling you that, yes, we'll be mandating this thing. And the writing's on the wall, and we've all talked about it. And the lockdowns, the mandatory masks in 90-degree weather in states that weren't even hit hard on something that's extremely treatable. And all these people, what are they telling you? Compulsory vaccinations are the only way we're going to stop this thing. And they're snickering while they do it, like Bill Gates says, because in his own words, Bill Gates is telling you he wants a lockdown till 2022, that the vaccine trials, they don't know whether the vaccine will work to prevent transmission, or will work to what? Lower the mortality rate. Now remember, the WHO giving us that 0.6% mortality rate, and then Trump coming out yesterday approving plasma treatments that are said to lower that by 35%, would put us at less than 0.4%. But we're not going to talk about that because the facts are not the facts. But we are going to play the video clip of this Virginia health commissioner saying he will mandate this thing for everybody in Virginia. Now's the time to start pushing back immediately. Getting out in the streets immediately. Opening your business immediately. Okay? Now's the time, because we're not going to have that much longer. Wave 2 of fear is coming. The promotion of Lockdown 2 that Zombie Joe is promoting. Okay? So before we play this clip, I want to remind everybody what you just heard is harmful content or potential harmful content according to YouTube. We're 4+ months in to the fact that what? We're fully demonetized here. We can't make a buck over on the YouTube because we're not authoritative content. Even though we show you all the authoritative content in the world and then give you a thinking person's perspective, that's a no mas. A no mas. You're not allowed to do that, Jason. You can also support me over on the Rockfin. You can check out all my documentary films for free. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies. Those are 9/11 films. I encourage you to check them out. Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. Also free right here, right now. Thumbs the video up right now. Ring the notification bell. Remember to check out the t-shirt shop on the way out. And let's start it with that propaganda piece. Defeat COVID-19 by requiring vaccination for all. It's not un-American. It's patriotic. And we rightfully rip this apart, right? Dr. Michael Letterman, Maxwell J. Mellman, Dr. Stuart Younger, they're all terrible people. And they should be held accountable for what they're promoting. Okay? Lackeys for big pharma. Lackeys for authoritarianism. Okay? And I'm not a lackey for that. This guy sure is.
Virginia's health commissioner says he plans to mandate a coronavirus vaccine when it's made available to the public. A bill being considered during this ongoing special session would allow people to opt out, at least some folks. WFXR's Capitol Bureau reporter Jackie DeFusco breaks it all down.
At least some folks.
You presumably still are the commissioner of health when a vaccine is made available to the public. Do you intend on mandating it?
Yes.
Commissioner of Health Dr. Norman Oliver says he strongly opposes a bill that would allow people with a religious opposition to opt out of an otherwise required COVID-19 vaccine.
So let's stop. The man opposes legislation that would allow you to choose what you do with your body. How is that not medical martial law? How is that not tyranny? When then they can come up to you, you've signed no contracts, you haven't joined their military, right? And they're just like, boop, and then boop again, and then bippity boppity boopity bip every time they want. with anything they want.
Killing people now. We don't have a treatment for it.
That's a lie. He just blatantly lies. There's no treatment for this. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Even authoritative sources have now acknowledged what? Remdesivir, dextromethasone as a steroid. Other steroids have been talked about. Newsweek wrote a piece on the 300 studies for hydroxychloroquine. And now the plasma treatment through executive order has been approved. Okay, this is from 2 days ago. The plasma treatment not being approved, whatever. He's lying to you outright and telling you there's not a treatment. And he's not going to tell you again that what Bill Gates told you outright, that again, we don't know if they will work. We don't know if they will prevent transmission. We don't know if they will lower the death rate. What are these things for? Well, they essentially do what this plasma treatment already does. Apparently without the side effects. But again, I don't want to speak too much on the plasma treatment other than I don't know about it, other than it gives you antibodies. Well, that's all they're saying the vaccine's going to do. It's going to create antibodies in your system for several weeks to several months. That's it. That's as advertised. This guy, again, is lying to you and telling you there's no treatment when dextromethasone has already been acknowledged, and so is remdesivir. Okay? 100%. And other doctors are saying other things. So he wants to mandate a vaccine and thwart a bill that would allow you to opt out.
And if we develop a vaccine that can prevent it from spreading in the community, we will save hundreds and hundreds of lives.
Currently,
hundreds of lives they're going to save in Virginia. Hundreds of lives. Now, not thousands, not tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, not millions. And what did he just say? If we can develop a vaccine that prevents transmission, that's not even what they're going for. They've never been able to develop a coronavirus vaccine because it's a cold virus. Okay? And you look at the Moderna studies, after the second shot, 80% had side effects. After the hot shot of the second shot, 100% did. That was the mega dose, right? And what were the, by the way, 20% overall ended up hospitalized from it. Fevers, chills, the same things that they say you get when you get this virus. This guy wants to mandate it and make sure there's no religious exemption.
under state law, only people with a medical exemption could refuse a mandate. Dr. Oliver says he doesn't know what the punishment would be for noncompliance.
I think the overwhelming majority of people would, in fact, respond well.
A new poll suggests more than 1 in 3 Americans aren't interested in getting a coronavirus vaccine.
Let me stop you there. You know how they say more than 1 in 3? Why not give a percentage? 1 in 3 means 33.3%, right? 33.333 infinitely, right? So what are we talking here? Is it not quite half? Is it 40%? And that's in your poll? And by the way, I don't think that more than half the country wants to be forced to take a COVID-19 84 vaccine. Just throwing that out there.
Though health officials say it will be safe, the speed at which it's being developed has spooked some Virginians. Chesterfield mother of 3, Kathleen Madeira, says for her, it's a matter of medical choice.
This is not a Republican or Democrat issue. It's not a pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine issue. For me, it's an issue of being able to assess each vaccine for myself and my family one at a time.
Dr. Oliver says in the case of the coronavirus, public health should take precedent over choice.
He shouldn't actually be the one person to make a decision for all of Virginians.
Reporting at the Capitol, Jackie.
No, he sure shouldn't. But, let's make Norman Oliver famous because there he is at VDHC Commissioner. Okay, you can go tweet at him. He's on the page. You can go watch that. Props to Spyro for posting it. But that's what authoritarianism looks like. Okay, it doesn't matter that, again, you look at what happened in Sweden. They didn't lock down. They didn't require masks. And their death rates are lower than much of Europe. You think I'm kidding you? By the official numbers. But we're still waiting on a vaccine. By the official numbers, 57 per 100,000 people. Okay? That was the death rate. All right? And then you had Belgium that was 87, 30 more. You had Spain that was 62, Britain that was 62, Italy that was 58, all which did go into lockdown. Remember, there's about 10 million people in Sweden, okay? But we're not going to look at these actual numbers. We're going to talk about spikes. We're going to talk about fear. We're going to talk about masks. We're going to talk about mandatory lockdowns, then vaccinations. Then we're just going to have our way with you with everything. As the predator class consolidates power, pushes a transhumanist agenda, an automation nation that's created by a subdued UBI populace of slaves. It's scary, guys, but it's real. We need to push back and push back now. If you're in Virginia, you better get out there right now. We're fully demonetized here. That was some pretty harmful content you heard over on my YouTube page, even though, hey, it's all mainstream. It's all mainline. Everything I said is backed up. So $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. Big donors need you now more than ever. Hitting the road later today, tonight. I think I'm going to do the Mixed Martial Mindset broadcast. Have my car packed up. And then after Mixed Martial Mindset, I'm going to take off for Iowa. So you can also support me over on Rockfin as well. Remember, again, to check out the documentary films, Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, my 9/11 films, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture, all free right now in the playlist section. Okay, right there. You can see them all. Boom! And check out the t-shirt shop because your life matters. Your skin color shouldn't have to. I'm about the content of your character, not the color of your skin. I will see you all on the flip side.